Hello there, aspiring teachers. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, try to answer 15 let questions about literary criticism. So here are the competencies needed for this coverage. Without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. Number 1. Which is known as the science of interpretation? A. Hermeneutics. B. Textual exegesis. Letter C. Literary appreciation. Or D. Post-colonial criticism. The answer is letter A. Hermeneutics. Exegesis is the careful investigation of the original meaning of texts in their historical and literary contexts. It includes the study of the cultural backgrounds of the author, text, and original audience. According to Nigerian authors Ngozi Anigbogu and Uchenna Owakwe, literary appreciation is reading, understanding, and making a critical judgment of the theme, style, and use of figurative and non-figurative language as well as other elements of a literary work. On the other hand, Assistant Professor Angela Mangione emphasizes that post-colonial criticism focuses on relationships between colonizers and colonized people in literary texts and analyzes whether a text upholds or subverts or overthrows colonial ideals. Moving on to number 2. What literary approach requires the critic to know about the author's life and times? A. Mimetic. B. Historical. C. Formalist. Or D. All of these. The answer is letter B. Historical. A formalist approach looks only at the text and excludes the life and times of the author. In the mimetic approach, it may be helpful to look into the author's background, but is not required. Number 3. Which of the following does not allow intertextual reading of literature? A. New criticism. B. Marxism criticism. C. Feminism criticism. Or D. Post-colonial criticism. The answer is letter A. New criticism. Marxism, feminism, and post-colonialism situate literature in the context of ideology and society. New criticism, on the other hand, encourages close reading. Therefore, intertextual interpretation is not recommended. Take a look at the descriptions below. What do you think are the features of new criticism? So here are the choices. The answer is letter C. When the emphasis is on how a text means, it's structuralist literary theory. This literary theory, which is based on Ferdinand de Saussure's linguistic theory, assumes that literature, as an artifact of culture, is modeled on the structure of language. Moving on to number 5. Which description of literary theories or approaches is not true? A. Formalism is criticism for meaning. B. Marxism rejects the ideal of art for art's sake. C. New criticism promotes close reading and interpretation. Letter D. Psychoanalytic theory attempts to interpret symbols in literature. The answer is letter A. Formalism focuses on the structure of the text rather than its meaning. Number 6. The following are characteristics of the constructive reading of a text except A. Language is a fixed system of signs. B. Authorial intention fallacy renders meaning uncertain. Letter C. A text is a combination of multiple shades of contradicting meanings. Or D. It is a reading which analyzes a text's critical difference from its intended meaning. Option A does not belong to a deconstructive reading of text. Number 7. Which literary approach can give a meaningful criticism to Emily Dickinson's poem below? A. Realism. B. Naturalism. C. New criticism. Or D. New historicism. The answer is letter C. New criticism. Again, new criticism utilizes close reading and focuses on the text in itself, that is, its language and organization. The rest of the options above require intertextual criticism as they regard literature as products of social constructs. Before we move any further, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you can keep watching my educational content. Let's proceed to the next item. Number 8. A critic examining Alexander Pope's An Essay on Man asks herself, how well does this poem accord with the real world? Is it accurate? Is it moral? She is most likely a blank critic. A. Mimetic. B. Feminist. C. Formalist. Or D. Reader response. The answer is letter A. Mimetic. The word is derived from the Greek word mimesis, which means an act of imitation. Alexander Pope's An Essay on Man attempts to vindicate or justify the ways of God to man. The mimetic approach is very useful here, since the approach focuses on asking how well the literary work conveys universal truths and teaches the reader positive moral values and modes of personal conduct. Feminist critics, on the other hand, focus on how women's lives have changed throughout history and how different their experiences are from men's. It also studies the male dominated canon in order to understand how men have used culture to further their domination of women. Speaking of formalists, they focused on devices and technical elements introduced by the writer in order to make language literary. Finally, reader response pays attention to the reader's reaction and interpretation of a literary text. Moving on to number 9. In a Freudian approach to literature, concave images are usually seen as A. Male symbols, B. Phallic symbols, C. Female symbols, or D. Evidence of an Oedipus complex. Of course, the answer is letter C. In a Freudian approach to literature, concave images are usually seen as female symbols. Such images, include ponds, cups, and caves. Phallic symbols are any objects that resemble or might be taken as a representation of males' generative powers, such as a cigar, pencil, tree, skyscraper, snake, or hammer. Oedipus complex is an unconscious infatuation of a boy toward his mother and sees his father as a rival. Number 10. Which of the following excerpt is an example of a paradox? A. The child is the father of the man by William Wordsworth. B. Don't we all love peace and hate war? C. At the drunkard's funeral, 4 of his friends carried the bier. Or D. Oh, hateful love, oh, loving hate, I burn and free like ice by Shakespeare. The correct answer is letter A. Take note that a paradox is a statement that seems to be self-contradictory or opposed to common sense. Another example is Oscar Wilde's "It is awfully hard work doing nothing." Option B is a rhetorical question, a question to which the answer is obvious and therefore not expected. It's a kind of statement. The line in letter C is a pun or a play on words that have the same or a similar sound but different meanings. In this case, the German beer either refers to a type of alcoholic drink called beer or Totenbari, which means die. Option D is a line taken from Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. It is an oxymoron, given that two contradictory words, love and hate, are used together. Contradictory words are mostly adjectives and nouns. 7 is an archetype associated with A. Birth, B. Death, C. Astrology, or D. Perfection. The answer is letter D. Perfection. 7 was the perfect number for Greeks. It is also the number frequently used in the religious literature of Hebrews. For instance, Genesis 2 says, God rested from creation on the seventh day. Number 12. Critics of this literary approach discern a flaw in discourse and then reveal the hidden articulations. A. Archetypal. B. New criticism. C. Psychoanalytic. Or D. Deconstruction. The answer is letter D. Deconstruction. New criticism is concerned with a text's language and organization. Archetypal, on the other hand, identifies repeated or dominant images or patterns of human experience in the text, such as the changing of seasons, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, the heroic quest, or immortality. Psychoanalytical theory encourages the reader or critic to be creative in speculating about the characters or author's motivations, drives, fears, or desires. So just a reminder, questions 13 to 15 challenge your deep understanding of various literary theories or approaches that I already explained earlier. All you need to do is to analyze and determine which literary theory or approach is shown in each passage number 13. So here is the passage. Please read and analyze it. What literary theory or approach is shown in the passage below? A. Romantic theory. B. Feminist criticism. C. Psychoanalytic theory. Or D. Reader response criticism. That's correct. The answer is letter B. Moving on to number 14. Here is the passage. Is it A. Romantic theory? B. Feminist criticism? C. Psychoanalytic theory? Or D. Is it a reader response criticism? The answer is letter C. Psychoanalytic theory. So here's our last item. What literary theory or approach is shown in the following passage? A. Romantic theory. B. Feminist criticism. C. Psychoanalytic theory. Or D. Reader response criticism. Great. The answer is letter D. Reader response criticism. So that's it for me today. Please support my channel by clicking on the subscribe button and share this video with other aspiring teachers. Thanks for watching.